Of course, you want to know what are the best stocks to buy right now, and I'm going to tell you. But before we get into that, these are things that you need to hear if you're a long-term investor, especially if you're an investor in technology. Number one, all of these growth trends, these secular growth trends, these mega trends we've been talking about on this channel for years, nothing has changed. Stay focused on your long-term plan. Do not let short-term volatility or social media influence you to change your mind and second-guess yourself. The market is often irrational, and I do believe that the market is being irrational right now with software. Now, software will definitely be impacted by AI. But whether you want to believe it or not all software companies are going out of business because of agentic AI. Agentic AI is not taking over everything. You're still going to need cybersecurity and core infrastructure backbones for agentic AI to work off of. So first off, if you're a new investor and you haven't already built out a portfolio, let's talk about the AI stocks that you should already own. If you don't own these stocks, you should buy these. In my opinion, not financial advice. I've been talking about Nvidia for years in this channel going back to 2019. It's $183. It was just 165. I said, hey, you buy it at 165, you buy it at 175, it goes lower, it goes to 155, you buy it there. Even at 185, I'm a buyer if I don't already own the stock. This is gonna be a $250 plus stock. The fundamentals support it. The market is afraid of the end of the AI cycle. It's afraid of competition. The reality is Nvidia is still crushing it, and I do not think this cycle is over. Now you are gonna have at some point CapEx dry up, and it's gonna impact not only Nvidia, but all of these stocks and really the entire market. The next stock that I would own if I didn't already own this is one of the top 10 high conviction for the next decade. It's a combination of semiconductors and software, including cybersecurity with carbon black. You're talking about Broadcom here. And yes, it's $358. It is elevated off this trend line. I think it's going to rebound 370, 385, eventually 400 plus. Of course, earnings season is coming up and it's going to be important for all of these names. And this is still elevated, but the fundamentals support it. And they're doing great things. And there's lots of money to be made still for Broadcom, especially when you think of ASICs. What are ASICs? Not shoes. If you're as old as I am, they're not old tennis shoes. Application-specific integrated circuits. These have been around for ages. What's crazy about that, I was trying to make a joke about ASIC shoes thinking they weren't around. And here they are selling them for $210 a pair. You can still buy these things. They're basically custom designed silicon chips built for a single specific task rather than general purpose computing. They're not as good as GPUs, but they get the job done for specific tasks. So you're seeing these Mag 7 names that are going away from Nvidia and investing in their own infrastructure or leveraging partnerships like a Broadcom, like a Marvell Technology to build these ASICs chips. Now, if you're looking for a smaller name that could have more upside potentially versus $1 trillion market cap, ALAB is rocking $21.68 billion market cap. This thing was just under $100 a share, and it's back to $127. It's ripped almost $30 in no time at all. So when you look at risk reward, it's still attractive here. Can it go lower? Absolutely. This S3 Fibonacci is closer to $76, $77. And you've heard the story before, but it went from 36 bucks, rocketed to 262. Consolidation was in order. It was ahead of itself. I like it even at 127, really 150 or under DCA if you're thinking long-term investing. But this is another one that I would add for that core AI infrastructure. These are the names that are in demand. They're popular. The market understands these. If you don't want to buy individual stocks and you want an ETF, SMH is a great one. You can see the holdings right here. Nvidia, Taiwan Semiconductor, Broadcom, Intel, KLA, and so on. Now, if you just want to focus on fabless semiconductor companies, not the entire ecosystem. So this isn't going to include Taiwan Semiconductor or names like KLA or Lam Research, those semiconductor equipment manufacturers. This is all fabless, meaning they design, they send it off to a fab, a foundry like a Taiwan Semiconductor, and they have it manufactured. So Nvidia, Broadcom, Marvell, AMD, ARM. This even has Astera Labs. You can see about 4.28% of this is Astera Labs. This is SMHX. This is the one I've been buying specifically in the community portfolio. So this has 18.5% Nvidia exposure, 14.5% Broadcom exposure. So pretty heavy weight just in those two names. But if I don't want to buy the individual stocks, this could be a great ETF to accomplish instead of buying 50 different stocks. And in this case, 23. There's 23 different holdings in here. So next, let's talk about some software names that I think are attractive buys. I've been buying these in the community portfolio, and several of our community members in Discord have been buying in the investing trade floor. Now, I'm going to start with one that I think is a little bit less risky in terms of just what it is and its moat. I don't think AI is going to replace tasers or body cams, and this company is doing very well. The valuations are being reset across the board for these software as a service or SaaS names. Now, this one is a hybrid type model because it has the hardware, the tasers, the body cams, the drones, and you can see all the different hardware up here. Now that's fully connected. A productivity suite capable of managing post-incident and post-operations documentation, recordings, and driving workflow efficiencies, supercharged with AI. So they have this recurring revenue software as a service that connects the things like body cams to the cloud. Emergency response accelerated. Infrastructure protection modernized. Communities are coordinated. This is end-to-end community safety. So public safety, threat detection, and emergency response, and then interagency coordination. For example, allowing the courtroom to access these files for a trial, the body cam footage, and so on. And this is everything from corrections to retail, federal, justice, healthcare, and private security. For SaaS companies, we like to talk about a metric called EV to NTM revenue, and it's a multiple. And AXON does trade at about an 8.5x. So it's not dirt cheap, but it's way less expensive than it was. I'll show you a chart here in a second. This stock was almost $900 a share. So profitability wise, since this isn't a true SaaS model, it's a hybrid, it's got about a 60% gross profit margin, which is still really solid, but not the 80 to 90% you see on some of those pure SaaS names. For example, CrowdStrike, built in the cloud for the cloud, 75%. And this is something I'd want to own as well if I didn't already own it, CrowdStrike for cybersecurity. But back to AXON, you're looking at 30% growth. So an A here on Seeking Alpha. We talked about the valuation. It is profitable. It's going to have an expensive 4P ratio of 233. Now, newbie investors or non-growth investors, maybe a value investor that says, hey, I'm going to try to not stay in my lane. I'm going to drive over in this lane and be a growth investor. They're going to tell you, oh, this is expensive. It's a 233 forward gap P ratio. And that's true if you're using that metric. But this has recurring revenue. And so we like to look at its peers. We like to look at the EV/NTM revenue. And there's no question that those multiples are coming down. You're basically having the entire sector get pushed down in terms of the valuation, the multiple that the market's willing to pay, because of the risk of AI, as well as just overall, the market itself has plenty of risks with the tensions in the Middle East and so on. But in the last year, this stock is down 35%. It's up 141% in the past 5 years. And if you look at this chart, it's breathtaking. It was $885 a share. Now, this is an air pocket. We talking about don't buy air pockets. We had this red trend line here. It's orange now. But that line was there before the stock was up here. In other words, you had this dot and this dot. And when the stock was up here, we had this yellow circle chart from Chart Day circled saying, hey, don't buy air pockets. It's too expensive. Now this complete air pocket has entirely bursted. We're below that air pocket at $360 a share. Can it go lower? The answer is always yes. The previous S3 is $339, and the current S3 is just below $300 at $298.85. Now, on a previous chart day a couple weeks ago, I told you I like it under 400. That's the preference, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it in the high 200s, and that's very possible because your fib S3 is 298. And this is from this Wednesday's chart day, so I'm going to turn it orange. But I'm buying this stock under $400 in the community portfolio. If it got down to under $300, I would start a new position in my main portfolio. Now, with any of these cloud SaaS names, I generally tell you to avoid them. And if you're going to buy them, treat them as spec. One of my favorites to a fault, which I admit has been a laggard, but I have been very disciplined with this stock, saying do not pay over $150 for Snowflake, DCA below 150, the lower the better, and think of it as a long-term investment 5 to 10 years out. Now, I've had this stock for a while and I haven't lost money, but it has been a laggard. And again, I'll admit that. If I didn't own this stock, this is one I'd be buying. In the community portfolio, we're actually green on this stock. On the main portfolio, I'm basically par. But this is trading at $135 a share right now, and the S3 is $120.46. This is Snowflake. I believe this is a beneficiary when I think of phase 2, data and ontology. The thing is they're all trading down together. In other words, all software companies are getting thrown out. And I think that even the good companies that you should own are being thrown out. They're being revalued. So they're there definitely is something to that. And Snowflake's trading around an 8x EV/NTM revenue. Now, this is going to be a consumption-based model. It's not a true SaaS model, but it's still going to be considered a cloud SaaS name. And you're going to look at that EV/NTM revenue. So 8, and not that long ago, this thing was pushing like 20. It was $280 a share. So can I go lower? Yes, but I like this stock, especially if I'm thinking a few years out. Do not go too heavy on any of these names, though. Understand that these are high risk reward, high beta names. You should not have the core of your portfolio be these SaaS and cloud type names. So next, I'm going to share 2 more of these SaaS plays if you're looking for those. Then I'm going to switch gears and give you a robotics play. And then I'm going to follow it up with 2 dividend stocks at the end. Now, this thing has absolutely been hammered. It's down another 8.16% today, really for no reason except that everybody's afraid to buy these names. Looking at a chart, this was a $240 stock. Now nobody wants to touch it. And it's crazy how market sentiment works. This thing was down here at $67, rockets to $239. People were buying this stock at $230 a share. Now the thing is below $90 and nobody wants to touch it. Just falling off a cliff. And a lot of these software names look exactly like this. The fear is that these companies are going to go out of business. So you talk about FOMO. So FOMO is going to be what? Fear of missing out, right? That's FOMO. Up here, if you're buying here, that's FOMO. Down here, when it's getting washed out like this, it's something that we call in Fired Up Wealth full. Fear of losing everything, full. People are afraid to buy this. Have no problem paying $200 for it. But now everybody wants to throw it in the trash. Nobody wants to touch it. So it's just going to keep going lower and lower. So the problem is if you buy it, it's probably going to go lower. The thing about it, though, long term, I think this is easily a $130 stock. It's trading at 90 bucks. Now, this S3 Fibonacci is 81.52. And back in 2022, in the fall, in the bear market of 2022, this stock got down here to this bottom red line, $67 a share. Now, ServiceNow is trading at a 5.4 EV/NTM revenue. And it kind of looks like software in general, everything wants to go to a 5. And if that's the case, be careful with names like Palantir because they have much further downside to go. Not comparing the two at all. I'm just saying, you know, that thing is still expensive at $130 a share. People were paying $200 for it. Now it's $130. The only time that ServiceNow has been cheaper than it is right now was when it got down to that 5 in the bear market of 2022. So I bought some more in the community portfolio at $90 a share today. Will it go lower? Probably. Nobody wants to touch it. I think if you give this thing a couple years, you're going to make some money on it. Is that a guarantee? No. And that's why I say you have to be careful with these. They shouldn't be huge positions, and you kind of have to treat them like spec because the market really just wants to throw all of these in the trash. Very similar, but now we're focused on cybersecurity. So very different, but similar in terms of setup. This was a $336 stock. Cybersecurity name Zscaler. Now it's fallen off a cliff. It's $121 a share. And this is just a free fall here. Just absolute bloodshed. When I look at the risk reward, if I'm buying here, I know it can go lower. In fact, the S3 is 106. I'm going to the bottom here. This is $84 going back to basically May 2023. When this stock, Zscaler, was back in that fall of 2022, same thing as ServiceNow, it got down to about a 5. Today, it's a 5.5x EV/NTM revenue at $121 a share. The thing probably goes down to $99 a share or something, the psychological number, test that $100 level. But it's crazy to think people were just buying this for $336, had no problem buying it there, but nobody wants to touch it down here. Been investing for about 30 years, and one thing that you will learn, the market is very fickle. Sentiment is very fickle. There's lots of FOMO, lots of full. It's fear and greed, lots of emotion. The most money that you can make in the market is when you're buying stuff that no one else wants to touch. For example, oil in the pandemic, when everybody thought that we'd never use oil again because everything was just gonna be closed and we're gonna work from home forever. If you can look past that and say, maybe the market's wrong, and maybe AI is not going to replace every cybersecurity company. Maybe Zscaler is going to be just fine. Now, is Zscaler my number one pick for cybersecurity? No, that's CrowdStrike. Go watch some of the previous videos. I told you something like Zscaler, maybe it's 1 or 2% position in a portfolio. But these names are beaten down. These are the type of names that are being bought in our Discord. Are they the core of the portfolios? No, they're not. These are going to be smaller positions. We're going to manage our risk. Okay, let's switch gears here and get into robotics. Now, the thing about this, one of the reasons this stock is down, of course, it's not cheap because anything that people want to own, it's going to have a premium. This has had a premium for a while, but Musk recently posted on X that he thought Optimus robots could someday, in the near future here, take over robotic surgery. Now, if you follow robotics and you know what Optimus can do, you know that we're not even close to that. And doctors, When you think of hospitals and how the procedures work, how sticky these systems are, I don't think Intuitive Surgical is going to go anywhere. Are there risks to that? The reality is there's risks to anything you invest in because AI could change everything. And you could go down a rabbit hole and you could basically make everything uninvestable except for waste management and just buy garbage stocks. And there is something to that. You should have a portfolio that's diversified and have some of those stocks as well. This has 20.4 million patients, serving patients globally in 70 plus countries. Intuitive Surgical. Now, of course, it's impacted by things like tariffs. It's impacted by competition, even Medtronic getting more into it. In 2024, they launched their 5th generation multi-port. This is the Da Vinci 5. They're having expansions across the globe. 3.2 million procedures performed. You know, a doctor is going to trust something that's been around, that's established versus, hey, Elon Musk has some Optimus bots. Let's give that a try. You know, you think about lawsuits, you think about protection. If I'm a doctor, if I'm a hospital, I'm going to trust what's been around the block. And these are very much first mover adopters. It's hard to have a true moat that's not penetrable, but they're in a very sticky environment and they've done very well. I think they'll continue to do well. 20.4 million procedures performed to date on Intuitive Systems. 1,900 systems placed in 2025. And what's cool about this is it's not considered a SaaS company, but it does have recurring revenue. So you pay a big upfront fee for these robotic systems, and then you have to pay recurring revenue, not only to use it, but also for the blades and so on. And in fact, approximately 85% of Intuitive Surgical's total revenue is recurring, driven by the sale of instruments, accessories, and service contracts. And this is a big deal. I think it's something that's not talked about enough. Highly profitable, A+ on Seeking Alpha, 66% gross profit margin, $167,000 net income per employee. The growth is really solid, 20% and 16%. Of course, it's going to be expensive. It has a 53 GAAP forward PE ratio. It's down about 12.52% in the past year. It's up about 75% in the past 5 years. Of course, with any of these stocks, the lower you can buy them, the better. But this thing has hit that $600 level 3 times, and it rolls over. This is a double top here, got to the same area, $600, rolls over. Generally speaking, you can see the stock likes to come in this level here, 429, 425, 427. We're not quite there, we're 457, and maybe it doesn't get down there. This trend line is kind of a goofy one, but it is kind of in that trend. You can see it's a pretty aggressive ramp from September 2022, pretty straight line, but that technically is your trend line there. I prefer this thing in that 425 level, 425 or less DCA, but I'm comfortable paying even like 457 right here. You can see this buy DCA. We're at the top of that DCA zone. This is your risk reward. Never reason to buy simply off of one of these. It's just for visuals. But if you think that we might go down to the S3 Fibonacci of 414, and of course, you can always go lower. So you can take this and you can say, okay, well, this is 396. Maybe it goes to $400. But if I'm DCAing in this red box, look at the upside potential just to get back to $600, which we know have done 3 times. This has been a trim area historically, but at some point it could break past that. It could end up being a $650 or a $750 stock with time. If I'm trying to diversify in technology, this is a great way to do that within robotic surgery, Intuitive Surgical. Now, the last 2 here are going to be more for DJI investors. So if you have a portfolio that's focused on some passive income, if you're not focused solely on accumulation, if you're focused on accumulation, probably focus on those other stocks we talked about earlier. But Qualcomm is a good company with upside. The growth isn't great right now, so it's something to be aware of. I think this will accelerate as they get into new segments of business. They're breaking away from Apple with the modem business, and they're replacing that business with everything from autonomous vehicles, robotics, even data center. So profitability wise, 55%, primarily fabless, A+, pretty solid overall. Valuation, you're talking about a 15 GAAP forward P ratio. That's not bad at all. Of course, it doesn't have growth. It's only 4%, but it pays that nice dividend. Dividend safety scores an A- here on Seeking Alpha, 2.79% dividend. You've got dividend growth of 22 years, only a 29% payout ratio. And I'd like to see a little bit more than 6%. 6.5% 5-year growth rate, but still solid overall. You're talking about almost a 3% dividend on the stock. So this is one I own in my dividend portfolio. I don't own it in the growth portfolio, so it's not in the community portfolio or the main, but Eric's dividend portfolio, I have been buying Qualcomm. It certainly could go lower. This S3 is like 116. You're focused a lot on the yield here. The closer you get to 3% on the yield, I think the better buy it is. But this was a $203 stock. I said, hey, I wouldn't touch it over 175. I've been buying mostly in this $140 to $125 level. We got down to like 122. And I told the gang in Discord weeks ago that we'd probably see 125, and we did get that. And the last one here, guys, you have to be a little bit careful with this one. I mean, 32% profit margin. It is an A plus, solid overall. The fear here is that, software is going to get replaced by AI and you won't need as much consulting from companies like Accenture. Now, growth wise, it's still not great, 6%. Again, this is a dividend focused. You're focused more on that passive income, getting close to that end game, right? We talk about accumulation, preservation. This is, it's more on the preservation normally, but you have to be careful because the sentiment is very bad. But the payout ratio is under 50%, pays you a 3.36% dividend, 15 years of dividend growth. It's trading right now, guys, at a 14.4 GAAP 4P ratio, which I think is attractive. It's Accenture. You have to have conviction that it's not going to go out of business. Of course, it can go lower. The S3 is 140. But I like this stock. I bought some today at $183 a share. Hope this video is helpful. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. Drop me a like. Drop me a comment. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.